Hello everybody, I'm back with another video, and let me tell you that I am piping mad about what I just saw on my Instagram feed just a few minutes ago. What I saw was so disturbing and so heart-wrenching that I just had to talk about it. And if you know me and been on my channel, you understand what I'm talking about here. This is dealing with law enforcement and how law enforcement has been treated so improperly over the past couple of weeks. And I wanted to just say right now to the lady who this video was made, my apologies to you. I know I had nothing to do with it, but I just feel like the public needs to recognize what law enforcement does for us. You are the cornerstone of public safety. You are the ones who are first responders in many cases. You're the ones who are doing routine calls, check-ins on the elderly. You're doing hospitality visits. You're doing traffic stops. You're checking to make sure that there's enough safety in our communities, in our schools. And all of this, that's 99% of your job. That 1% that we see on Facebook and on the news now is not what you guys do on a daily basis. And it's being misconstrued and it's affecting all of people in law enforcement. So before I get into that, particularly the elements of that video, I'm going to leave a quick picture here so you know which video I'm talking about. I want to talk about what I feel is the situation right now with society. And I think I put my finger on what is actually happening and why we're having the situation with this cancel culture and other things that deal with that situation with the wokeness that's going rampant in this country, but it's wokeness dealing with bad information. It's one thing to be woke and have it be a red pill, meaning that the information is new and it's truthful and go off on that. But to go off on bad information makes you look silly and it's dangerous. So, my thought is this. I'm going to keep it brief. People do not have the ability to cope anymore. The coping mechanism that we're taught as kids, remember the thing, oh, count to 10 before you do something stupid? That is totally lost on people. And so what we see is, depending on the person, because I don't want to generalize, manifests itself in different ways for each person and each situation. Let me give some few examples, all right? The most common way is if you're on Facebook, you got a buddy of yours, you've been going to school for 20 years, you may have been acquaintances, you've been not necessarily hanging out every weekend, but you've been cordial online and so forth. Next thing you know, he defriends you or he says something to you in instant message that how he's so disappointed in you because of your stance on the fact that you don't like cats that have stripes. He can't deal with that. He's triggered. He's going to defriend you because he can't deal with that feeling. And so what is happening here is that when people are presented with new information, whether they are perceiving it as accurate or it's just something they just can't deal with in terms of reality, cognitive dissonance. One of the two. And it doesn't really matter which is true. It's how the person feels and reacts to that is what matters. If you think it's true and respond accordingly, that's all that matters. That's why you count to 10, step back and come back and realize, oh, maybe I was wrong or maybe I see their side of the story. Because right now people are so self-absorbed. We're so self-consumed with our own emotions and feelings and, oh, woe is me, I'm such a victim. How come I can't deal with this? People can't deal with stress. They can't deal with any kind of conflict. And then they just want to get away from it. They want to get away from it, so they put themselves between that person or that subject matter that they don't like, thereby being cancel culture or blocking you on Facebook, or in this case of this video, not serving a law enforcement officer because you don't like that she is at your establishment. So now let me run down this particular video. This law enforcement officer is at the McDonald's drive-thru. She decides to stop and get some food because she's been up for X number of hours. She's tired. She's hungry. She wants some food. So she stops in there and she waits. She orders her Egg McMuffin meal or whatever and a coffee. She waits and waits and waits at an undisclosed amount of time. She doesn't say. I'm assuming it's at least 5 to 10 minutes. And for something like that, should be pretty quick. She's asked to pull her car up and wait for her food to be prepared. So then as time expires and goes on, she gets more and more anxious because I think she's realizing what could be happening here. And so the people come out and give her coffee, and she ends up not taking the coffee because she's afraid that the coffee or the food after that, if it ever comes, will be tampered. So she said, no, I'm not going to do it. She basically breaks down. And I can totally feel her on this because, again, like I said before, whether you think the situation is true or if you just perceive it as being true, she felt that way because of what's happening with her. I'm sure many of her coworkers and what you're seeing on TV. It's creating an atmosphere. It's very dangerous. If we have nervous law officers, it's very dangerous. If we have nervous citizens, it's very dangerous. We need to calm this stuff down. Count to 10, like you're in kindergarten, and realize that it's not all about you. There's something in there that we're projecting on other people. Sometimes we take our own insecurities and our own bad thoughts and we project that on someone else. We're judging someone on the content of our own character. And we need to chill on that sometimes, especially when we're dealing with bad data and bad narratives that are all over the media. That's what it's about. And you can carry this all the way across to just about anything you see. I did a video on knitting community of all things. People who knit. There's a big conflict between them and people being canceled because they don't like their stance on, I don't know what it is. But if you can get canceled in a knitting community, you can get canceled anywhere. And it's pervasive. And I think it's embedded in our culture of this me attitude, not empathizing on other people's feelings, not seeing a big picture, having no perspective, having no information, and not taking the ability to go out for yourself to find out what's true and what's not true. And I put a lot of responsibility on the media because they don't do a good job at all in telling the truth, or at least presenting both sides of the arguments so that we can figure out for ourselves which is true. And that is bad. That culture is really what's causing the issue at the core. And you put on top of that people who recognize that, who want to exploit that for their own personal gain. That's what we're getting. My hamburger's about to be ready, so I gotta go, guys. But I just had to do this quickly because I just had to get this off my chest. And I may do a different video on this as well. But I hope everyone here is having a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. And I will check you guys out next time. Comment below if you think I'm crazy or if you think this is ridiculous. But if you do agree, let me know as well. And I will be appreciative of that as well. So until next time, have a good day. I will see you next time.